There is a question that quietly follows millions of people every day. Why can't we stop thinking? Not planning dinner or solving a problem, but the kind of thinking that returns at night when the world is quiet. A sentence you wish you had said differently, a decision you keep turning over, or a future you try to predict, as if imagining every disaster could protect you from pain. Overthinking can feel like intelligence, responsibility, or self-awareness. But slowly, the mind stops being a tool and becomes a place you cannot leave. This is the hidden psychology of overthinking, and why, once it takes control, silence feels almost impossible. Overthinking is not proof that something is wrong with you. It begins as protection. The human brain evolved to scan for danger, remember pain, and predict what happens next. For our ancestors, this was survival. But the modern world has changed faster than our nervous system. Today, danger arrives as an unread message, a deadline, a memory, or an imagined future. The body lies safe in bed, while the brain behaves as if a threat is approaching in the dark. This is why overthinking feels so convincing. It tells you that one more scenario will prepare you. But preparation and obsession are not the same. One leads to action, the other creates motion without movement. Overthinking offers a false sense of control, a mental treadmill disguised as progress. Psychologists describe overthinking through two patterns, rumination and worry. Rumination looks backward, asking, "Why did I do that?" Worry looks forward, asking, "What if everything goes wrong?" Both attempt to solve emotional discomfort with mental effort. But emotions are not puzzles, they are signals. When we try to think our way out of every feeling, we teach the brain that the feeling itself is dangerous. Attention is fuel. Whatever we return to begins to feel more urgent and true. The mind mistakes repetition for evidence, assuming a recurring thought must mean something. But a thought is not a prophecy or a command, it is just an event in consciousness. The problem begins when we treat every thought as a courtroom and ourselves as the accused. The overthinking mind speaks in suspicion, asking, "What if they misunderstood me? Or what if I chose wrong?" Beneath it all lies a deeper fear. What if I am not safe being myself? The past returns because the brain learns through memory. It studies pain to prevent repetition and revisits embarrassment to protect belonging. In this way, memory is a survival system. But the brain does not always know the difference between reflection and punishment. A useful lesson takes a moment. Self-torment can last for years. You may replay a conversation because part of you searches for a perfect response, or revisit an old choice because regret creates the illusion that the past is negotiable. But no amount of thinking can edit yesterday. What keeps the loop alive is often the emotion beneath it, grief, shame, or fear. The mind circles because the heart has not yet been allowed to feel what it knows. The deeper question is not why do I keep thinking about this, but what feeling am I still trying to avoid? Overthinking does not just fill the mind, it steals presence. It makes morning coffee taste like tomorrow's problem, turns a walk into an invisible argument, and places you beside someone you love while your attention is far away, negotiating with a future that may never arrive. This is its greatest cost. It separates us from the life happening right now. Over time, the body carries what the mind refuses to put down. Sleep becomes lighter, the jaw tightens, and small decisions feel heavy because the mind treats every choice as a doorway to catastrophe. Perhaps the deepest cost is identity. If you overthink long enough, you may believe this is simply who you are, the anxious, complicated person who cannot relax. But you are not the noise. You are the awareness noticing the noise. That distinction is the beginning of freedom. Long before modern psychology, philosophers understood that human suffering is shaped not by events, but by the meanings we attach to them. The Stoics taught a simple lesson. Separate what is within your control from what is not. Your effort, your response, and your next action belong to you. Other people's opinions, the past, and the future do not. Overthinking tries to control the uncontrollable while neglecting the next wise choice. Epictetus wrote that people are disturbed not by things, but by their judgments about things. The mind often adds a second wound, the story about the wound. Philosophy invites us to pause before believing that story. Is this thought true, or only familiar? Is this fear useful, or just loud? Am I solving a problem, or rehearsing suffering? To quiet the mind is not to destroy thought, but to stop worshiping every thought that appears. To break the loop, we can use 5 practical steps. First is naming. When the loop begins, gently say, "This is rumination," or "This is worry." Naming creates distance, turning the storm into something you can observe. Second is returning to the body. Notice your breath and feel your feet on the ground, because the body is always in the present. Third is writing. Put the thought on paper to give it edges. Fourth is choosing one next action, not the perfect action, but just one honest step, like sending a message or taking a walk. Fifth is setting a boundary, telling the mind, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but we are not solving this tonight." Peace begins when a thought is no longer treated as an emergency. The mind will still speak and fear will still knock, but you do not have to invite every visitor inside. You can listen without obeying and reflect without disappearing. The goal is not a perfectly silent mind, but a different relationship with the noise. Perhaps peace of mind isn't found by thinking more, but by learning which thoughts deserve your attention.